loved us so much that in our poverty, in our hell, I'm going to come and deliver the broken, destroyed, messed up, poor, impoverished people. I'm going to save.
Young niggas ain't tough. Young niggas ain't tough. You young niggas ain't tough.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Barakatah. Yahweh Shema Alatah Bashim Yahushua to all the sisters, man. Listen, it's Captain 13,000, a card of a rhyme, checking in with the Israelite School of UPK under Commander Junior Hunt.
And you know we not no cowards. Oh, you on that?
Listen, man, this year's 52nd annual Passover. Hold on, I'm gonna say it one more time. This year's 52nd annual Passover under Commander Junior Hunter under the I.S.U.P.K. Couldn't do it last year. Y'all already know the Lord had his foot on our oppressor's neck.
Here in New York City, there are roughly 1,000 cases a day. Those are numbers they haven't seen since May.
Can't do it in New York this year because the Lord still got his foot on our oppressor's neck.
New York, the center of the outbreak this spring, is now teetering on another deadly explosion of the virus.
But listen to me good. This year, 52nd annual Passover, April 24th, 2021. You understand? It's gonna be in H-Town, baby.
It's gonna be at the B&H Ranch, 14149 Players Street, Houston, Texas.
Y'all know what we do. Y'all know what we came to do. Huh?
2021 I.S.U.P.K. 52nd annual Passover. All the generals gonna be there. All the heavy hitters gonna be there. The daughters of Zion gonna step out with their beautiful long dresses, you understand? Strong on deck. That One West style music on deck. 52nd annual Passover.
B&H Ranch, 14149 Players Street, Houston, Texas.
Get with it to get lost, man.
Got it out the mud, straight up out the base. The world done made me crazy. The world done turned crazy.
You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I'm siding with the Lord, of course. On one accord. We ain't never stopping now. You running now. All my niggas go to ground. We go.
Shalom. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Barakatah. Yahweh Shema Alatah Bashim Yahushua to the sisters. President Captain TITHES with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, telling you to come out to the 52nd annual Passover under Commander General YAHANNA. Yeah, man, it's going to be at the ranch, man, the BH Ranch. And it's going to be a glorious event. April 24th, come out, come to Houston, Texas, where we're going to serve the Lord the way he's supposed to be served. You understand? We're going to celebrate the destruction of our enemy in the BH Ranch, and it's going to be a glorious event. Make sure you come out, man. It's going to be a $200 fee to get in, but let me tell you something. You're going to enjoy yourself. This is going to be the best event you've ever been to in your life. So I'm going to tell you, man, 14149 Players Street, come out, man, and enjoy the brotherhood and sisterhood under Christ. With that, shalom.
Talk about it a little bit later. That's what the question. All right. So now, I just clap it up. Clap it up. All right. Shalom, Israel. Shalom. Yahweh Bahashem. Yahweh Shah Barakatah to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Alathan Bahashem. Yahweh Shah to the sisters. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West. 125th Street out of Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. We are not affiliated with no other Israelite group or Christian organization. And we teach the truth according to the Bible, and that's that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the real Jews according to the Bible. You understand? Black people fail to realize that the things that we suffer in America, in Brazil, in Jamaica, in Mexico, in Honduras, in the UK, in Trinidad, wherever we are on the face of the earth, We suffer the things we suffer because we fail to realize that we are the people in the Bible. We fail to realize that what we suffered in the times past is what we're suffering today. But we don't understand that just like in times past, there was a solution to end our suffering. And we don't understand that that same solution applies to our people today. You understand? Tonight's topic, what is it, the topic? I forgot the order. What is it? The guilty verdict?
Guilty verdict, 420, and the government conspiracy.
Right. The guilty verdict, 420, and government conspiracies. You understand? Like, tonight we're going to go into one. I know you all know it's so-called 420 Day. For those of you that are not in the know on what 420 is, 420 is a day that a certain group of people who are just drug addicts decided they are going to commemorate smoking weed because they love drugs so much that they have to dedicate a special day to it. It's like you already get high every day. So why do you have to have a special day where you have to serve and love this God of weed even more? Because the people that decided to make 420 a holiday are the same people that wrote in the Constitution, all men are created equal, you understand, and then excluded your black self from those rights. The same people that smoke weed and promote smoking weed and turn weed into $1 billion industry are the same people that locked up black, Hispanic, and Native American men for selling that very same weed. You understand? Like, we fail to realize that we are the people in the Bible, and just like the people in those holy records had an enemy, we have an enemy because we are those people. But if you leave it up to these Christian pastors, these black politicians, and the entertainers, in your mind, we all should join hand in hand. We all are in this fight together. We got to fight oppression. If I let you be oppressed, then we're going to be oppressed too. Like, that's garbage. While black people are joining behind everybody's cause and movement, our people are dying and suffering, while everybody else lives a life of luxury. Everybody else lives a life of carefree. Like, nobody has to think about the things that we have to think about on a daily basis. I was watching a comedian the other day, and he made a joke about having the cashier give him his receipt in a bag when he walked out the store. Like he said, Best Buy, they always want to give you your phone case and not give you the bag and receipt. And he put something in perspective. He said, as a black man in America, I don't have the luxury of walking out with merchandise I just paid for without a bag or receipt. Being a black man in America means I have to think about things that other races of people don't have to think about. As a black man, he fully understands, no, I actually need that bag and that receipt. Because we live in a society where just because of who we are demonized. Just because of who we are not loved and accepted. And we should use that very same reasoning to separate from everybody else. We should use that very same logic to separate from the people that seek to do us harm. But we fail to realize that joining together with everybody else is the destruction of our people. You understand? I'm Officer of 1,000 because I got mine. I got Officer of 50 Bakwash in the building holding it down. Got the two young men here, and we're going to get it in tonight. Before we go on, if you got any questions online, type it in the chat. Any questions you got, type it in the chat. Lord allow, we'll get to them. So we got any questions in the room, let's go ahead and address those questions. You understand? In 1 second. Go ahead, brother.
It's lucky, sir. I was actually going through 613commandments.com earlier, and it popped up to me, Numbers 35 and 31, and it reads, "Moreover, ye shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall be surely put to death." And right beside it, it is it do not accept monetary restitution to atone for a murderer. So is that basically saying that all the money that the government gave to George Floyd's family, they shouldn't have taken it? They shouldn't have taken it?
That's an excellent question. Now let's go to the precepts you were reading first, and then let's address the question. So we're in Numbers 35. Let's go to the first verse you said was 31. So now let's go to 31 first. You can go ahead and read it. Let's read it nice and loud so everybody can hear.
Numbers chapter 35, verse 31. Moreover, ye shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall be surely put to death. And ye shall take no satisfaction for him that is fled to the city of his refuge, that he should come again to dwell in the land until the death of the priest. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land.
Stop right there. What is this satisfaction it's talking about in verse 31? When it says, moreover, ye shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer. What is this referring to? Go ahead.
If I'm not mistaken, Sir Salaki, it's justice, but you shouldn't feel, what's the word? Satisfaction for him dying.
Okay.
Happy.
Give me more. Yes and no. Give me more. What is the satisfaction it's talking about? Take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall surely be put to death. What is this telling back? What is this telling our people? And I need a precept that pairs with this. Go ahead, brother.
I don't know the chapter and verse off the top, but it's he that killeth with the sword shall be killed with the sword.
Yes, that's on to it. Hold that. Give me Romans 12 and 19. This is the satisfaction this is talking about. And you should understand this because this is our lives. This is every nigga's life that ever lost a cousin to get to gang violence. This is every nigga's life that has ever lost a loved one or a brother or uncle or father to the racist police officers the same way George Floyd was just killed. Let me ask you something. Do you think how much they paid George Floyd? 35 million? 26 million?
20 something.
Something like that. Multi-millions. Do you think that money, as much as it is subsiding the anger that resides in his kids and his mother and his brother? Let's read this.
12 and 19.
Okay.
Romans chapter 12, verse 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves.
Do what?
Avenge not yourselves.
One more time.
Avenge not yourselves.
This is the satisfaction it's talking about. It's satisfying for you to go and take justice into your own hands. That's why scriptures like this exist in the Bible. Because without the law, you would have what we see in every black neighborhood in every major city. Like people that's not from the streets can't understand why black men kill each other. People think that we're so hateful and that we're animals when what you're witnessing is love that has been misconstrued. Like these brothers are killing other brothers because they love the person that was killed. You understand? Christians can't understand that because their love is not real love. They'll kill their own child if it means furthering their career. They'll allow their children to be molested if it means they get a seat by a pastor in the church. Go ahead, McQuash.
So when you're done, I got another precept.
Oh, we got, listen, it's not too rare I got in the class with McQuash with me. Me and McQuash used to do this not too long ago. This is me and McQuash right here. And so this right here is a good day. You understand? Keep reading. Avenge not yourselves. That's the satisfaction it's talking about. Keep reading.
But rather give place unto wrath.
Give place unto wrath. This is talking to one set of people right here. Because we are a people who are seeking justice. And because we are seeking it and we don't receive it, we take it into our own hands. And all we do is create what the other verse down below just said. We defile, pollute our land with blood. We're seeking justice and seeking the satisfaction of get back. And all we're doing is polluting our community. We're destroying our community with seeking justice. Like, you got to understand, it's almost like what's the word? It's a conundrum. It's like we want the right thing, but we're not going about it the right way. To want the person who killed your people to die is not wrong. That's justice. And if America was truly a land of justice and liberty for all, Derek Chauvin will be in the goddamn election chair this evening. According to the Bible. According to the same Bible that America claims to follow in. If justice was really America's initiative and goal, Derek Chauvin will be in the electric chair. You know? Because they put us in the electric chair for murder. They put the lethal injection in our arm for murder. So, like, go ahead, Bakosh.
It's like, just like you were saying, America is not interested in justice for, honestly, for definitely not for us, but not for really anybody.
Right.
I was just bringing out yesterday that 23% of all rape cases or sexual assault cases gets reported, and the reason being is because only 4% actually get time for sexual assault.
Right.
So the reason why they're not reporting it is because they know nothing's going to happen.
They know nothing's going to. I learned that from watching Law and Order SVU. Salami. That's one of my favorite shows. My really hate that shit. It's so depressing. I'm like, this is life. This is life. It's over the top, but this is life. And what Bakosh just said is so heavy. Justice doesn't exist in a wicked nation. You understand? It doesn't exist. Even for white people, they have protections and rights, but justice doesn't even exist for them. You understand? Justice is only for the so-called people that, I hate to say the word elite, because now you draw in the conspiracy theorists. Well, the 1%ers, you understand, when all the oppressors are the devil. You understand? But we can't deny the fact that there are a certain number of people that pull the strings. That's in the Bible. The number of man, 666. Meaning there are 666 people that make the decisions on the face of the earth. You understand? But nevertheless, the white man is the spearhead of that. And nobody gets justice in the wicked kingdom. And we are on the bottom, so we're not seeing any type of justice. I don't want to go too off, because my mind going all over the place, precepts popping in my head. Keep reading where we at. Avenge not yourselves, and they're going to get Bakosh precept.
Start over.
Bob Kushar, if you don't mind.
Romans 12, verse 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord.
Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Now, how does this equate to the scripture back in Numbers? How does the Lord take vengeance based off this precept in Numbers?
Basically saying, that's not your responsibility to do it. You do what I tell you to do. I take care of that part.
Yes. How does the Lord take care of that part? Based on the precept of vengeance. I mean, the precept in Numbers.
He'll give you the justice. He'll do the killing.
How? Let's go back to Numbers. Hold where you at. Go back to Numbers.
Read it over.
Papa Shaw.
Numbers chapter 35, verse 31. Moreover, ye shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall be surely put to death. And ye shall take no satisfaction for him that is fled to the city of his refuge, that he should come again to dwell in the land until the death of the priest.
Until the death of who?
Of the priest.
How is vengeance the Lord's? Based on this precept in Numbers, in this context. How is vengeance executed? First, you got to understand what the city of refuge is. Go up 3 verses.
28.
Yeah, let me hear that.
Numbers chapter 35, verse 28. Because he should have remained in the city of his refuge until the death of the high priest.
Give me 2 more verses.
25. 26. But if the slayer shall at any time come without the border of the city of his refuge, whither he was fled, and the revenger of blood find him without the borders of the city of his refuge, the revenger of blood killed the slayer, he shall not be guilty of blood.
For time's sake, what we're reading about is, in this time period, we have what they call cities of refuge. These cities of refuge were places where if you committed a murder, that if you made it to this city, you were allowed to live in this city until the death of the priest, because the priests were the ones that executed the vengeance of the Lord. That's who was killing people. That's why it says take no satisfaction. You understand? Because don't go and try to have justice for yourself and you do something for it. The priests are tasked with the job of executing what these laws say. It's still the case now, but we don't have any authority in America to do these things. In Christ's kingdom, it will be just like this again, where if a man is caught sleeping with a white woman or committing sin, you'll see one of the priests bust in the door with that sword. You understand? And he's going to be the one executing the Lord's vengeance. If a brother kills another brother, that brother doesn't have to do anything. He ain't got to go and ride out and shoot, what's it called, drive-bys and shootouts, because he knows a fellow black man, a priest, is going to go and execute judgment. And that judgment is of the Lord. You understand? That's what this scripture is telling us, is don't seek justice on your own. Don't try to take justice into your own hands. You know who does that? The white man. They make movies about him being vigilantes. How many movies? Almost every movie with a white man and a gun is about him being a vigilante. Him taking justice into his own hands because society is not giving him a fair shake. And America loves it because it's okay for the oppressor to take justice into his own hands. But that's not what God wants for his people. You understand? Like that's a corrupt society. That's why when you read about the Wild West, they did things so it was just barbaric. You understand? Like what they used to call it? A draw, where they used to turn back to back, a duel. And then they'll walk away from each other, draw. And whoever turn around and shoot first, that's justice to them. It's uncivilized because that's who they are as a people. When the Bible is what you're reading about in the Bible is laws that govern a civilized people that maintain our people being civilized. It's telling you, you can't do this. You can't go and kill another person. You have to wait for the justice system in the Bible to take its course. And the thing about the Bible is our justice system is absolute and perfect because it's established by God. This justice system in America is not perfect. You know how bad America's justice system is? Black people are celebrating right now because the justice system finally did what it was supposed to do. Like that shows you how terrible this system is, that we celebrate the fact that it's like, yes, the justice system did what it's supposed to do. When in all actuality, Black people should be able to still be angry and mourn while justice has been served. But we get such an unfair shake that we get distracted from what's really at hand. Like this brother's no longer on the earth. But we celebrate the littlest victories because we get no victories in this place. The justice system is so against Black people that Black people are literally we think we made it. Joe Biden's in office and we out there. I'm listening to the radio and everybody's like, yeah, this is a step towards change. And you would have thought Barack Obama was elected again. Go ahead, McQuarrie.
Slack, if I could, the so-called justice that we just got only happened because it took a global
phenomenon.
Ruckus.
Yeah.
A global uproar. That's the only reason why, Derek Chauvin got convicted of murder today. That's the only reason.
Right.
If it wasn't a global phenomenon, then we wouldn't have gotten this type of justice, even though, you know, he hasn't been sentenced yet.
Right.
Let's wait to the sentence, and even if whatever sentence he's going to get is not going to be enough.
Right. What we're seeing right now, like Bakwash just said, the only reason why it seems like George Floyd is going to get some sense of justice is because now the eyes of the world are upon America. Like you have to understand how if you're in politics for America and if you're in government for foreign relations, this is strategic. Like you got to understand, you can't be somebody that goes over to another person's country and tell them you guys need to have democracy and you mistreat your people when the world is now watching how you mistreat the people that built this stinking place. Like you don't think the world is watching? The world is watching, and the white man understands that, and he understands he has his authority is already illegitimate, but he has to make it seem like his authority is somehow legitimate. So he has to give these little dog and pony shows where it's like, oh well, finally justice was served. It's not justice, man. Real justice is Derek Chauvin. It's us watching Derek Chauvin get a black hood put over his head, get straps put on his arms, and turn up the juice. Frankenstein Derek Chauvin. That's justice for George Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Where we at? Keep reading. You drop that. Because what's the precept you had?
I got Proverbs 24:17. Rejoice not when thine enemy falleth, and let not thine heart be glad when he stumbleth. Verse 18. Lest the Lord see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him.
Who? Anybody give me context of who's this talking to? Who's our enemy in this context? Go ahead.
The enemy will be any other nation other than us.
You sure?
I'm not sure.
He said, I'm not sure. I like that. No sweat, brother. Anybody else want to give it a shot?
The enemy could also be your brother, a person of your same nation. The person, another Israelite, can also be an enemy.
Let's think about what YAHANNA always said this a long time ago. He said the Bible has a reoccurring flow, a reoccurring theme. Which one would go with the theme and flow of the Bible? If the Bible is telling us not to rejoice for the death of our enemy, the downfall of our enemy, but in Psalms we read about David saying, "I hate them with a perfect hatred," and he prays for the death of his enemies. This would have to mean what? This is talking about what you said, a fellow Israelite. When it says enemy, it's not saying our actual enemy, but because we're destroyed, we make our people to be enemies. You understand? Like the enemies of Christ, the biggest enemies of Christ were who?
The Sadducees and the Pharisees.
Fellow Israelites. They're the ones that got the Romans to kill him. We have enemies within our community. And it's unfortunate, but this is just what it is. That's why Christ said, "Who is my mother and my brother? But those that do the will of my Father." Precept, because your enemies shall be in your own house. I'm paraphrasing. That's what the scripture says. Your enemies shall be within your own house. Meaning your own people, your own blood, flesh and blood will be your enemies. And the Bible's talking about when the Lord is dealing with our people, don't rejoice in that, man. Do not rejoice when you see one of your fellow brothers and sisters who did you wrong and now they're suffering. Don't rejoice in that. Unless, read it again, Bakwash.
Verse 18. Lest the Lord see it, and it displease him, and he turneth away his wrath from him.
Why would it displease the Lord to see you rejoicing for the death of a white man?
Because we're not supposed to abhor Edomite.
No, that's not why. The Lord wouldn't be mad with you rejoicing over the death of our oppressor. The Lord hates Esau. I'm just proving that this is not talking about our enemy, the oppressor. This is talking about our brother. The Lord loves Israel. So he finds it, he's displeased to see. It's like if you're a parent and you ever whoop one of your children and then your other child is laughing too hard. He's taking pleasure in what's going on. It's like, oh, this is funny to you. His whooping gets cut short.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, I told you to take that trash out, and you didn't take that. Come here. I don't know about y'all. I grew up with I got a bunch of siblings. It's 7 of us, and this was our life. We knew when somebody was getting a whooping, you better feel for them, because you knew it's just a matter of a couple of seconds where that can go from him to you. You understand? It's the same with our people. We should never rejoice at the downfall of our people. Perfect example is when the leader of that fake Israelite group, TITHES, when he died from COVID-19 in jail after stealing millions of dollars from Commanding General YAHANNA that rightfully belonged to this school, Commanding General YAHANNA. Did you hear Commanding General YAHANNA or any of the generals laugh or celebrate that death of that traitor, of that brother? No, because our generals serve the Lord, and they understand that about the God of the Bible. They understand that we are not to rejoice in the death of our people. You understand? Because lest we repent, it will be us too. You understand? So, of course, that's a good precept when it's dealing with us right there. That's definitely a good precept when it deals with us amongst us. That's why it's even proof why we shouldn't take vengeance amongst each other. You understand? Because if the Lord is displeased that you even take pleasure in somebody else's punishment, it doesn't matter how much more displeased that you're the one bringing on the punishment of somebody else. Like you taking it upon yourself to go kill brother because he killed your brother. The Lord is not pleased with that. That is not justice. What you're doing is now giving the reputation of the God of the Bible a bad name because we carry his name as a people. And now you're making us look uncivilized and bloodthirsty murderers like our oppressor. The Lord is not pleased with that. And that's how you develop a society like America. If we want to continue America, we'll continue to do what we're doing in the ghettos. If we want to stop the George Floyds and the Dante Wrights and the Tatiana Jeffersons and Sandra Bland's, we have to not do what the oppressor does. And that's kill people whenever you are displeased. The white man kills because he had a bad day. The white man kills because he was turned down from prom 15 years ago. And he had to wear Proactive in high school. And people laughed at him. You understand? Like, the oppressor kills because of that. You understand? Like, that's just a wicked beast. And we should not take on his ways. So, like, it was more to your question, brother, because it was an excellent question. And you asked the second part about the payment. Where is that at?
Yeah,
it's locked, sir.
Do you think? You asked, so George Floyd's family should not have accepted that money. What scripture was that? So we can go to it.
I thought this was it. Numbers 35, 31 said, do not, that's what they wrote on the website, right beside the scripture, do not accept monetary restitution to atone for a murderer. So
that's what they wrote.
Yeah, right beside the scripture.
Okay, so that's not the actual scripture. The scripture they used to justify that was Numbers 35 and 31?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go back to Numbers 35 and 31. And let's read it one more time. And I want you to tell me, does this scripture answer that question to you? Go ahead. Nice and loud for the people, Bubba Sharp.
Numbers 35 and 31. Moreover, ye shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall be surely put to death.
Now, right there, they said this scripture is to justify not taking monetary restitution. How do you word it?
Do not accept monetary restitution to atone for a murderer.
Is this to you, in your opinion? Is this scripture saying that to you? Shalom, shalom. In your opinion, from what you read, is that scripture saying that to you?
The only thing I'm not getting is that. Okay, it's saying that the murderer will be put to death. You should take no satisfaction for the life of the murderer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I didn't get. I didn't get the monetary part from this right here to here. That's why I brought it up.
You know
I don't know.
No sweat. You know why you didn't get it? Because whoever wrote that website is making up garbage. You understand? And listen, it's understandable. You try to go on to find out all the laws in the Bible. This is why you have to come here for the source of information. Because where the scripture does that pertain to monetary restitution? We just read the scripture where it says what the satisfaction. You ask any black person, what is satisfaction for when somebody kills somebody you love?
Revenge, just straight eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth.
Listen, this is a Judite right here. So that's what it is. That's satisfaction. When somebody gets killed that you love, money is never discussed. Oh, I'm gonna make them niggas pay. I want all that nigga tax refund. No, that's not the satisfaction we get when somebody we love dies. That nigga's gonna pay with his life. And if I'm feeling extra that night, if I'm extra high that night, and his homeboys too. You understand? If he with his kids, they might can get it too. And whoever in the neighborhood, they can get it too. That's the life of our people. Hence, all these kids being killed by stray bullets. Because our people are so pressed on justice, the satisfaction of justice for this death, for this murder, that we're willing to kill innocent bystanders for this pursuit of satisfaction. That's the satisfaction it's talking about. The person that wrote that satisfaction is money is a Christian. Because to a Christian, they don't understand love to the point that you'll kill for somebody that you love. In their minds, the greatest satisfaction, money, 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 money. So to them, that's why they interpret that as that. When there's a satisfaction greater than money. And if you in the ghettos and you're a black person, you understand that. Eye for eye. Go ahead, of course.
Just heavy what you said, because yesterday or the day before, a little girl was killed in Chicago, in a drive-through McDonald's. She was sitting in the back of the car, 7 years old, got killed.
At a goddamn McDonald's. That 7-year-old sister did nothing to nobody. And you will hear about it, you say niggas is monsters. These niggas is animals. They're super predators. When you don't understand, you're just witnessing love what's the word? Awry. Love going astray. Like these brothers love the brothers that they with that are being murdered. And they are seeking justice. And the Christian church has failed in teaching us how to get justice. So any man that has enough love for his people, he's going to say, I'm not going to take this. I'm not just going to sit and take this. I'm going to get justice. And this is how you have 7-year-old girls killed in McDonald's. When if the pastors was teaching the Bible like they should, these brothers would know that. Read the scripture again.
Numbers chapter 35, verse 31. Moreover, you shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer.
Take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer. If the pastors was doing their goddamn job instead of hustling and lying and sleeping with everybody's woman and child, it wouldn't be black on black crime. Black on black crime is because of the lack of the Christian church doing their job in the black community. That's why. Because this solution is right here. Nobody's teaching a lot of people this. Everybody wants to say, stop the violence. It's not that easy when you got skin in the game. When there's blood been shed. It's not that easy. You have to teach the people, first of all, they are the people in this book. And because we are the people in this book, these laws are what prevents your children from suffering this type of bloodshed. You understand? These laws will prevent more bloodshed. You understand? Like it's one of the things that's hard to understand. Like you think you were hurt now because you lost a homeboy. Well, guess what? This can continue, and you can lose more people that's valuable to you. Oh, trust and believe. You can lose more. You hurt because your homeboy got murdered. Listen, the bloodshed can continue. Now it's your children. Now it's your mama. And that's why you see in the black community, it's always an outrage when some 70-year-old black woman get killed. And it's just like, how could this happen? It's always an outrage when it's the old or the young. You understand? But it's never outrage when it's any of us. When it should be that same outrage for any black life that's murdered. And if it would, those brothers wouldn't have to take it upon themselves and their ignorance to try to seek satisfaction. Justice. Justice is satisfaction. That's what justice is. You think George Floyd's family is satisfied with that $20 million they got for the life of George Floyd? No, they're not. If they were satisfied, they wouldn't care about the results of the trial. If they were satisfied, they wouldn't even attend the trial. Like, I don't need to see that. We got paid. That's over. Okay. And, you know, he was a good man. He was here, but, you know, we got 20 million, so that's that. But money is not the satisfaction that comes with the life of a murderer. It's to take the life of a murderer. Go ahead, brother.
If I may say, for would you say that Christian that wrote that monetary gain, that's not the love of your brother, and so they don't love God.
Christians hate God.
That's right.
Christians hate God because Christians hate black people. They hate their brother. Christians are the biggest white supremacists you'll ever meet, no matter what race they are. No matter if you meet a Christian, just know you're meeting a Klan member. They may have never murdered anybody in person, but just believe in spirit they are a Ku Klux Klan member if they're Christian, because Christianity teaches whoever believes in that ideology to hate black people. Christianity teaches through that ideology to oppress black people. Christianity doesn't teach love for the poor like the Bible says. Christianity doesn't teach love for the broken and the suffering like the Bible says. Because if it did, America wouldn't be structured the way it's structured. America is structured on pushing the poor as the rich get richer. That's how America operates. Even the white man understands that concept about this place. When our kingdom, there's laws where you can't even harvest all of your crops. You know that's in the Bible, right? Like, our kingdom is such a righteous kingdom. There is a law in the scriptures where you are not allowed to harvest all of your crops. Anybody can take a guess why? Go ahead.
Because 10% of whatever tribe that had to go to the Levites.
That's tithes. That's tithes. Whatever 10% of whatever they reaped in that harvest would have to go to it. But there's a law separate that says you are not allowed to pick. Let's imagine you growing grapes in the vineyard. You're not allowed to pick every single goddamn grape out that vineyard. You have to leave some there. Why?
So we can reproduce it. So
no. You get the spirit. What is the spirit of the law? One word. What's the spirit of the law?
I got the answer for you.
No sweat. Tom's sake, go ahead, of course.
Comic-Con is you have to leave the fringes of your property that's growing, so that any poor person that comes along that doesn't have any food, they can eat of that. That's for the poor people of us, of Israel, that travel throughout our land. They have some food to eat as they pass through.
That's in the Bible. That's a law where you cannot harvest all of your crops, for the simple fact that if there's any of our people that's going without food, they can go to your vineyard and eat a couple of them grapes and continue on their way. That's how, to answer the question, the spirit of the law is brotherhood. You understand? On these two hang all the whole of the law. Love thy God with all thy heart, minds, and soul, and love thy brother as thyself. On these two hang all the law. That's in the Bible. You understand? The spirit of the law is brotherhood. And everything about our culture is to love your brother. That's everything about. These laws are put in place to foster brotherhood. Like, these laws are not here just to have laws. Like, America has laws because America is a vampire, a blood-sucking society. When the Bible, we have laws to make sure brothers don't violate and harm each other. That's the purpose of this. You understand? Like, that's the purpose of the law. Take no satisfaction in the death of a murderer, so that you are not being unbrotherly to the children of that murderer. Although you're getting justice for your loved one, what are you now doing when you take justice into your own hands? Now you're creating vengeance in the children in the loved ones of that person that you just murdered. They have family members too. And you know what you do? Now you put that demon on them. Now they want to kill you. Now they want satisfaction for what you did to their loved one. And what you see play out is what's playing out right now. Go read verse 32. It tells you what's happening.
Verse 32. And ye shall take no satisfaction for him that is fled to the city of his refuge. that he should come again to dwell in the land until the death of the priest. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are.
So that you do not pollute the land wherever we are. How do you pollute the land? Keep reading.
For blood it defileth the land.
This is how you pollute the land. You want to know why everybody wants to move out the goddamn ghetto? You want to know why every time a baller gets a contract and gets rich, they all flee the ghetto? You want to know why white flight exists? When we move to the cities and they move to the suburbs, and then we move to the suburbs and now they gentrify the cities, you want to know why everybody wants to get the hell away from us? Because we pollute the land. This is how we pollute the land. Bloodshed. Bloodshed is what pollutes the land. And this is not our culture, because the Bible is telling us what's our culture. We learned this from the master of shedding blood. And that's the white man. That's our oppressor. This is who we learned this from. And it's ironic that we learn it from them, but they don't want to be around us when we take on their customs and culture. They don't want to be around niggas when niggas do. When black people go on to seek vigilante justice, it's different. We thugs and criminals. When the white man seeks vigilante justice, he was a misunderstood hero. He's Robin Hood. You understand? John Q was the first movie I seen where a brother was doing a criminal act and he was hailed as a hero. You understand? That's why Denzel, he always gets some points in my book, because prior to John Q, you can't name me too many movies where black men were doing criminal acts but were the hero. White movies are filled with white men doing that. All Die Hard. This cat is a cop, and he's doing things that are against the law, and he's a hero. You gotta do what you gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet. They make all types of exceptions for the oppressor when he gets vigilante justice. But when a brother does it, he's a thug. He's a super predator. Go ahead, brother.
Like, yeah, I admit I'm human. John Q, he almost got me like 3 times on that one. I got no misty eye on that one.
Bro, that's one of my favorite movies.
That's my favorite Denzel movie.
I ain't say it's my favorite because I like the more rugged Denzel, me personally.
I'm my favorite.
Yeah, but if I'm in one of the moods, it's definitely in my top set of movies, because, like I said, it's showing black men in a different light, where he was seeking justice. He loved his son so much that he was willing to do things that were criminal. And when the white man does it, it's understood. It's like, even the Capitol, fellow white people can reason with them destroying their own capital, because in their mind, we're seeking justice. We're seeking justice. When black people go out on the streets and riot because of non-guilty verdicts and the murder of our people, look at those thugs. Look at those goddamn thugs tearing up our country. Because it's okay for everybody to get justice, but us. That's in the Bible. You understand? Did that answer your question? You had any more to it, brother?
I can't, sir.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, finish the chapter.
Oh, you say you had more to your question?
Oh, no, I'm saying Khan.
I
got the answer now.
Oh, Salaki, yeah. And that's just a lesson to everybody that's out there, man. Because I did this too, and I had to get told, put in the right direction. When you hear these UPK classes and you come in contact with this truth, this is the only source to the truth. You cannot try to get information from here and here and here and then try to bring it into here, because what you're going to do is you're going to pollute what the truth is. You understand? And I did it too. Like I didn't never listen to no other Israelite group, but I came in here and I would get different scriptures from different websites, you know what I'm saying, not realizing these Christians compiling these websites. And so I would get down there, I'm getting Christian breakdowns. And then it's wondering why I'm still confused on certain things, because you can't turn to nobody else for the truth. You have to turn to the source of the truth. If you need any information, this is the place to get it from. You understand? It might be tedious. You understand? You might not get it all right when you want it, or you might not get it how you want to hear it. But this is the place for information, to get the right information, man. We got any questions or anything online, of course? Before we go, we got any other questions in the room? Any questions in the room? Get me Zechariah 11:5. Well, the guy can go ahead and read about the shop.
Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Whose oppressors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Who is this talking about right here? Go ahead.
Our oppressors.
Our oppressor. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have a oppressor. And that's not us being victims. A lot of this is how our oppressor is so diabolical. When we call out that we have somebody destroying us, now it turns into, oh, you got to leave that victim mentality. You got to leave that victimhood and stop complaining. It's not victimhood if I'm actually speaking about what's being done to me. It's like if a child were to come to an adult and tell you they're being molested, and you say, you got to come out that victim. You got to stop being a victim. You see how wicked and insensitive it is? It's like, how am I being a victim when I'm telling you what's actually happening to me? So I'm a victim because I'm telling you what's happening to me? Go ahead.
Consular, it's like we're not allowed in any sense, whether the victim or at all, to tell the truth. Either we're being racist or we're acting like victims. It doesn't matter. It's like we can't tell the truth at all.
We can, but when we tell the truth, we're a hate group. We're victims. We complain. We're lazy. You understand? We're unpatriotic. Everything they say about the UPK is because we tell the truth. The unfiltered truth about what's happening to the Lord's people. There's one race of people that has been absolutely more evil than any other race to us, and that's undeniable. There's one race of people that hung us from trees and light poles in the cities. There's one race of people that cut off the testicles and penises of black men and put them in goddamn jars with vinegar to preserve it, so that the other white people and children can come look at it in the shop. There's only one race of people that fed our children, that put our children in cages in a goddamn swamp for alligators to come so they can come kill the alligator and eat the alligator meat. There's only one race of people that have done the things they've done and continue to do to black people. This is not us being victims. This is history. This is actual black and white on paper history. You could ask a white person from down south. They got postcards and the stuff they used to do to us. They got memorabilia shops still down south in them backwoods of shoes made out of nigger leather, meaning the skin of black people were put on shoes and wallets and belts and bags and used as leather, as if we were cattle. This is not victimhood. This is just us speaking about what the reality of what we are suffering is. But the moment we think to open our mouths to not sing or dance and praise America and the oppressor, now we're the problem. That's no sweat. Go ahead.
It's a lot of last time, sorry. We were down Mississippi and we went to the mall. I saw a Confederate flag stand in the middle of the mall. I walked over to it. I didn't tell anybody. I saw a t-shirt, a sweater that said Southern Cotton Industries on the top. On the bottom left, it said Southern Grown. On the bottom left, right, it said Hand Picked. And it had a big piece of cotton on it. I pulled out my lighter. I literally was about to burn it. My brother grabbed me and said, "Come on, man. I knew you was about to," but yeah, that kind of triggered me right there. I never seen anything like that.
You know why it triggered you? You might know why it triggered the brother. Did it trigger him because he's a victim?
It triggered him because he remembers the pain that our ancestors went through.
The actual history of what we did so they can be able to have this country. He's not a victim. You understand? He's not playing the victim card and the race card. He is upset at the actual history that was done to our forefathers. The same way the white Jewish man can read about Anne Frank and her diary, and they can get so sad and angry, and now they want justice. But everybody can understand that. The same way when white people go and watch videos of them Twin Towers, they want to go and sign up. You know what I mean? You know what 9/11 did for United States military enlistment? Go look at the numbers. After 9/11, U.S. military enlistment skyrocketed for the period of like that, I want to say that 8 months period right after 9/11. Military enlistment skyrocketed. You know why? Because white people weren't being victims. They just were acknowledging what happened to the people, and they want justice. And everybody understood it. Everybody. But the moment we seek justice, it's a problem. These people, our oppressors murder us, and they find themselves not guilty. They find themselves not guilty. That's why they tell us, stop being a victim. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, because they refuse to announce the fact that you come from a race of people that are guilty of crimes that y'all haven't paid for. They kill us and find themselves not guilty. That George Floyd case should have been open and goddamn shut in a fair and just kingdom. What else do you need? It was on camera. We watched it in 4K, high definition. It was an absolute murder. But when you live in a society that is not about justice, that is not about liberty or love, or that follows God, this is what you get. You had something, brother?
Yeah, I wanted to add on to the trigger part. I hope I'm not mistaken, but I think I heard this on Black Watch where either Captain Akkad or Captain Cesaria, it was saying, like when a woman has a baby, the baby feels everything that is going on. Like back in the day, it was talking about when the white man would rape the woman, you know, she got the baby feels everything. And that pain and anguish is passed down through the genetics because the baby got it. That's so right. Maybe down the line, you got triggered because through genetics, that pain and anguish and everything is still within all of us. That's why we snap like that.
Even in the spiritual realm. But if you go talk about trauma, the science of trauma, that is absolutely true. That's why they tell women to go as far as to read at a certain time of the day when you're pregnant, play certain music when you're pregnant, eat certain foods, do certain exercises, talk a certain way, avoid stress, because everything that sister is going through can be passed down. They tell you, based on what a woman was going through during her pregnancy will affect the personality and the psyche and demeanor of that baby. This is not us making this up. This is actual science. The white man has came up with this and studied this and found this to be true. So you imagine this is a black woman who is pregnant and she has to first decide if she wants to even keep the goddamn baby. So imagine that first stress affects the baby right there. Now she has to navigate in a society she decided the hard choice of keeping the baby, but now society, everything about society is saying, you should kill this baby. You should, there's still time left. You still got time. Laws can change now where you can murder this little MF, but right in up to the last point, you still got a chance. And now she has to hear the opinions of other people. Girl, where the baby father at? Girl, you too young. You got your whole life ahead of you. You can't afford no baby. You can't bring a baby into this world. Then she has to look and see how other people live and raise children and see that clearly her child won't be raised in that luxury. Her child won't be raised in those comforts that other races experience. All this stress and trauma on the psyche is passed down to that child. You understand? And then wonder why we are born mad. The scripture say we'll be smitten with blindness and madness. You understand? Because of the things we're suffering. So it's like we're going to leave the scripture for a second. Because I sent you 2 articles. If you could get me to the one about the CIA first. We're going to go a little bit to the topic. I almost forgot about my damn topic. If you want, you can pass it to a brother, or you just go ahead and read it. It's up to you.
Okay, so I got it. Cocaine, conspiracy theories, and the CIA in Central America.
Now, just see how diabolical the oppressor is. Read that title again, McQuarrie.
Okay. Cocaine, conspiracy theories, and the CIA in Central America.
Give me the definition of somebody, conspiracy theory. You get a young man, guys, give me conspiracy theory definition. Young man, Dwayne, give me the definition of conspiracy. Let me show you how diabolical our oppressor is. This is why Christians, you don't understand. Words mean things. Words, it's so simple, but you have to say these things. Words mean things. And the oppressor is a wordsmith. He's an expert at words. That's why you damn near got to hire a lawyer to sign a contract. Because he'll word something in there where it's like, hey, that sound about right, and you get to read like, no, man, that's not what that's saying. That's saying you forfeit all the rights to your publishing and all property. I'm like, oh, why he just didn't write it like that? The white man is an expert at deception. Give me the definition for conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory. Now, a theory that rejects the standard explanation for an event and instead credits a covert group or organization with carrying out a secret plot.
Is there any more on that?
Yes.
Give me some more.
Number 2, a belief that a particular unexplained event was caused by such a covert group. And 3, the idea that many important political events or economic and social trends are the products of deceptive plots that are largely unknown to the general public.
Hold that. Give me the definition for conspiracy. Sure.
Conspiracy. A secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful.
I don't know if anybody picked up what was the difference. Can anybody tell what was the difference between the two definitions? It's very minute, but it's a difference.
But that's just a thought. That is an actual action that took place.
Get a brother ahead. One is the idea or the thought of this is happening or it's taking place, and the other one is the actual act of this taking place. In this article, in the very title, they say crack cocaine, the CIA, and conspiracy theories, as if it's an idea in the mind of the people that the CIA was funneling crack into the black neighborhood, as if we just came up with that. They're diabolical in their words, man. If you pay attention to them, they absolutely find a way to discredit us all the time. And that's just something I just picked up on in the title right there. Like, how is this a conspiracy theory when this is proven? And I can show you in the next article, this is proven. Go ahead, Bakosh.
Since its creation in 1947 under President Harry Truman, the CIA has been credited with a number of far-fetched operations. While some were proven, the infamous LSD mind control experiments of the 1950s, others, like the assassination of John F. Kennedy and the crash of the savings and loans industry, have little or no merit. In 1996, the agency was accused of being a crack dealer. A series of exposed articles in the San Jose Mercury News by reporter Gary Webb told tales of a drug triangle during the 1980s that linked CIA officials in Central America, a San Francisco drug ring, and a Los Angeles drug dealer.
Stop. This is a book I ordered off of Amazon. If you're into this type of stuff, you should get it. The reporter's name is Gary Webb with 2 B's. The name of the book is called Dark Alliance. I was going to bring it. I was rushing, forgot to bring it. It's a red book. The cat, he got sunglasses on the cover. It's about this reporter, Gary Webb, was one of the first reporters to break the news that the CIA was, in fact, behind in funding the funneling of crack cocaine into black and Hispanic neighborhoods. And that's what happened to Gary Webb, but to the wild guess. You watch enough government movies.
I think he committed suicide by shooting himself in the back of the head 2 times.
Twice. He committed suicide by shooting himself in the head twice. Once again, that's just a conspiracy theory. They say he committed suicide. I never heard of somebody shooting himself in the head twice. I mean, it's possible. It absolutely is possible. You can shoot yourself in the head and you didn't finish the job and you just like, no, oh no, and you finish it off. It's possible. Is it plausible? Not likely. Go ahead, brother.
They made a movie about it called Kill the Messenger.
Brother, that's one of the famous ones. There's so many movies about this cat and the whole. It's a TV show right now called Snowfall. You understand? Come on, Freeway Ricky, Rick Ross, the real Rick Ross, the original, and all these cats. Oliver North.
That's what that's about.
You know, that's what it's about. Freeway. I can't even say that. Freeway.
Freeway Ricky.
Yeah, Freeway Ricky. Yep. That's what it's about. Because these are the events that actually took place. You understand? Keep reading. Salaki.
According to the stories, the CIA and its operatives used crack cocaine sold via the Los Angeles African American community to raise millions to support agencies' clandestine operations in Central America. The CIA's suspect past made the sensational article an easy sell. Talk radio switchboards lit up, as did African American leaders like U.S. Representative Maxine Waters, Democrat Los Angeles, who pointed to Webb's article as proof of a mastermind plot to destroy inner city Black America. One of the people who was accused in the San Jose Mercury News of being in the midst of the CIA cocaine conspiracy is one of the most respected, now retired veteran DEA agents, Robert Bobby Nieves.
So basically what this is saying is there are many people, while they try to pass it off still as a conspiracy theory, there are many people in renowned, such so-called renowned positions that testified on and off record that this actually happened. People that were in the field and were like, this is happening. The United States government is really funneling cocaine in Black neighborhoods. And I have another article afterwards to prove this was the case. Keep reading.
Quote, you have to understand Central America at that time was a haven for the conspiracy theorists. Christic Institute, people like Gary Webb, others down there looking to dig up some story for political advantage, unquote, Nieves said. No sexier story than to create the notion in people's minds that these people are drug traffickers. But in the weeks following publication, Webb's peers doubted the merit of the articles. Fellow journalists at the Washington Post, New York Times, and Webb's own editor accused him of blowing a few truths up into a massive conspiracy. Among Webb's fundamental problems was his implication that the CIA lit the crack cocaine fuse. It was conspiracy theory, a neat presentation of reality, and simply did not jive with real life. Webb later agreed in an interview that there is no hard evidence that the CIA as an institution or any of its agent employees carried out or profited from drug trafficking.
Not having hard evidence, does that take away from the fact that this crime is committed? Let me try to explain that right. Let's just say you committed a murder and you go to trial and it's like, we can't try you because we have no hard evidence. Does that take away from the fact that you committed a murder? No. And this is how they do. They are so crafty and diabolical that they try to slander Gary Webb and say, well, even Gary Webb said he has no hard evidence. You understand? Of course he doesn't have hard evidence when he's dealing with an organization that is in the business of cleaning up their tracks. Of course you don't have hard evidence. But you do have the testimony of the people who have been in and out of these organizations. Go ahead, brother.
Thing I'm saying is not what you know, it's what you can prove.
That's the whole system of the oppressor. He says, not what you know, it's what you can prove. Go ahead,
Counselor, it's not only that, but the way their justice system is set up is you're not guilty unless you can prove reasonable doubt. And all you have to do is just have one little doubt, and then you're not guilty.
Right.
You're off. All they have to do is create some shadow figure, some other plausible way, even if it's total fiction. All you gotta do is plant that seed in the juror's mind, and in this case, the jurors is the entire world, and plant that seed and say it's a conspiracy theory,
right?
And we're here to help the people, so why would we do that?
Right. That's the oppressive system is just destructive. You don't believe me? If you've been in this system, you know what I'm talking about. I've been to court, and I remember they trumped up charges when I got to court. I'm like, well, goddamn. I'm standing in the court, and they're reading the charges, and I started laughing in the courtroom. They reading up charges. I'm like, well, damn. Y'all really doing? Y'all dedicated to getting me in this mug, huh? Because in my mind at that time, it was a shock that an organization would do this to me. Like, no, the police wouldn't do that. The United States government wouldn't do that. Well, this is what they've always done. The justice system has never been fair to Black people. You understand? And this same justice system will lie to say that they didn't have a hand in destroying their own citizens. Of course, somebody had the hand raised. Go ahead, brother.
You talk about trumped up charges in Virginia and Manassas. Like a few times I got arrested for a drunk in public when I was never actually drunk, but it was supposed to be like a disorderly conduct, but they upped it to drunk in public.
Right.
Without evidence, without a breathalyzer, without blood test, or anything.
Right. And you see how they do? They need you to have evidence to prove what they wrongdoing, but they'll put stuff on you without no evidence at all. They kill black people without evidence, like without any evidence. And in most cases that we finding out in these body cams, they are falsifying the evidence, putting baggies in people's cars. There's so many videos coming out now revealing who these devils are. You understand? We're gonna drop that. Give me the other article, Bakwash. That article was just going into the fact that it's been proven that the CIA has funneled crack into our neighborhoods, and yet and still they will say, well, that's the talk of the town. It's a conspiracy theory. You go back to Zechariah 11:5 when we're having to read that.
Zechariah 11 verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. And their own shepherds pity them not.
This is what happened when the United States government funneled crack cocaine into the Black, Hispanic, and Native American communities, funneled weed. Since it's 420, everybody wants to celebrate weed. If you participate in 420, if you go out and get high off of any drug, you are participating in a literal government conspiracy. You're participating in a government conspiracy because those drugs didn't get in the Black community from Black people. Those drugs were put in our community via the United States government. So for you to turn around and either consume those drugs or sell those drugs, you are now an arm, a mechanism in the machine of white supremacy. And you don't even understand it. So you shouldn't cry the next time another brother is murdered, because you are part of the machine that supports the murder of our people. You shouldn't cry the next time a Black child is killed by a stray bullet, because you are part of the machine that fuels that. You shouldn't cry the next time a Black woman goes missing, or the next time something heinous happens to Black people, because you are part of that system. The government has conspired against Black people to destroy us, and then they find themselves not guilty. Give me Psalms 83 and 3. It's like of course, I think the allergies catching up to me too. I was doing good. It must be a rough day today.
Throw some prayers for you.
Yeah, no sign of Christ. I'm gonna throw some steam up for me when I get to the crib. Whoever got it can go ahead and read.
A psalm or a psalm.
Psalms 83 and 3.
That's on. Do I read this too? No. Psalms 83 and verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel against our people. To me, I don't know about y'all, this scripture was mind-blowing to me. Like sometimes you hear scripture so many times, it can become mundane to you. It can become redundant. But you have to remember the first time you heard these things. I can remember the first time I heard this scripture and heard it broken down. And it blew my mind to know this is literally what's happening to our people. They literally, it's like the Bible was describing what I witnessed with my own eyes, and I never knew that this was in the Bible. Every race of people has come together and decided that we have to do something to make sure that these people never rise up in power. Because if they rise up in power, they won't be equal to us. They will surpass us. And so every race of people has a hand in our oppression, in our destruction. Every race. If you don't believe me, just look at the Black community. The businesses in the Black community is the manifestation of this allegiance. You want to know who's all taking a part in our destruction? Just look at who has the businesses in our community. Every race of people has their hand in our destruction in some kind of way. If you don't see them represented in our community, you can see them all throughout in their land. Sometime has benefited from the slave trade. Like the world was so-called wanting to mourn for Prince Philip. When Prince Philip was sitting on a so-called monarchy, sitting on a monarchy that was established from the wealth of the slave trade, the destruction of our forefathers. You understand? Like the entire earth benefits off of our destruction. And the Bible is telling us that. They taking crafty counsel against our people. You know what that crafty counsel is? Let's push the drugs in their community and then turn around and say it's a war on drugs. And then not really fight the war, fight to get rid of drugs. We'll just say it's a war on drugs and use this to lock up black people. To use this to destroy an entire generation of black men. To use this to destabilize their community. That's crafty. That's real cunning. It's evil, but it's cunning. Go ahead, brother.
That to get the slaves that they lost.
So what you talking about from when tsunami?
They used the war on drugs to lock up the people to replace the slaves that they had lost before.
Exactly. That's what it's always been from the jump. To find a way to maintain this slavery structure without black people realizing it's the same slavery structure. So that's why you had the prison work camps right after the Emancipation Proclamation. That's why you had the black codes, which a lot of those laws still exist in cities today. You want to know why they approach black men standing on the corner in groups? That comes from the black codes, where black men weren't allowed to congregate more than 2 or 3 people. You understand? Black men weren't allowed to be in certain neighborhoods or downtown after dark. A lot of those, the policing today still revolves around the slave patrols. That's why it's popular to hear, what are you doing in this day? What you doing around here this time of night? You understand? You see your license and registration. Where's your slave papers? You know you're not supposed to be here this time of night. This all stems from what the brothers just said, them trying to regain back the slaves. Well, they not regained because they never lost us. We've always been slaves. It's just the ownership transferred. You understand? From private owners now to the corporation of the United States. You understand? That's what we've always been slaves to this place. And they just been finding a way to maximize their authority over us, to get all they can get out of us by giving us the least they can give us. Like just believe this. If they gave us stimulus checks, you better believe those was crumbs. They was able. This is like if you lend somebody money. Some people don't lend nobody money unless they count it as an L. It's like, yeah, it was extra anyway. You know, so you got some people that lend money. It's like they expect it back. And then you got some people they lend money. And it's like they're like, well, I can't pay you back. I wasn't expecting you to pay you back. That's chump change, really. Go ahead, question.
So with the stimulus money, they gave us, just like you said, crumbs, but they gave the big corporations hundreds of millions or billions of dollars.
Right.
But they can't afford to give us our due.
Right. They gave us good. And listen, I'm not saying don't be happy about it. They owe it to us, and Lord knows we goddamn need it. And we need those stimulus checks, but just know, black men, you are owed everything in this place. Don't let some devil or some heathen, wherever you are, make you feel like you're lazy or you're worthless when you are owed everything in this goddamn stinking place. Every single thing. They should be the ones coming to you for the things they need. They should be the ones asking permission from you. Can they go here? Can they do this and do that? Because we're the ones that built this place, and we're the ones that have enough compassion and humanity to govern this place. But because we follow after America's culture, you will never know it. You will never see it. We look at them kids that's killing each other, and this is what makes me so mad. As an older black man, how could you look at a younger black man like you scared of him? Like he's such a wild man when you should feel what he's feeling. This brother doesn't want to have to look over his shoulders for the rest of his life. He doesn't want to have to live a life where he has to kill, and nobody wants to live like that, man. Nobody wants to live like that. But this is the cards we've been dealt, and we choose to follow after a culture that's destructive. Go ahead, Raquash.
There's a question on online.
What's the question?
Sir, it's Trooper Yakazaki Allah said, Salakia, sir, did you say it's satisfying to take justice in your own hands and reference Romans 13 and 19 as the proof.
Read it one more time.
Did you say it's satisfying to take justice in your own hands and reference Romans 13 and 19 as the proof?
Read Romans 13 and 19 again. I'll break it down for you, Yathazak. That's the wrong verse. Romans 13 and 19 was 19 and 13. Slightly. Read me Romans 13 and 19 because he might be reading that. What does it say?
There's no 13 and 19.
Oh, there's no 13 and 19?
It stops at 14.
Well,
9 and 13? Did he mean?
Anybody wrote down the scripture we went to in Romans before?
12 and 19.
12 and 19. Somebody get that Bible show.
Romans chapter 12, verse 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath.
Avenge not yourselves and give place unto wrath. Chubayatazak. What's the scripture you pulled? Let's get both of them again, just so I can clarify real quick. Because I can understand. I can see how he would not understand what I'm saying. You got that, young man, Jose? Give me numbers. Was it 35 or 31?
I got it right here, sir.
If you could, about the show.
Numbers, chapter 35 and 31. Moreover, ye shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall be surely put to death. Verse 32.
Stop right there. What is the satisfaction that we should not take?
Going out and killing that man.
That's it literally tells you in the sentence. Read it again. This is why and this doesn't think it's a trooper, but Christianity puts such a spell on our people where you can overlook what you're reading out of the very what's right before your eyes. Read it again.
Numbers, chapter 31. Chapter 35, verse 31. Moreover, ye shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall be surely put to death.
Why is it saying at the end, but he shall surely be put to death?
It's because the vengeance is the Lord's.
Right, but it's telling you that because
you are going to receive justice.
You are going to receive justice. It's telling you that so that you don't take the satisfaction. It's like, he shall, like, hold still. Don't just wait. He's going to be put to death because everything in you wants to receive that justice. It's satisfying to receive justice. You understand? That's what I'm saying, Chubayatazak. Justice is satisfying. It's satisfying to know that somebody pays for their wrongdoing they did to you. Everybody understands that. Somebody does something wrong to you, you want to see them receive their just due. Justice is satisfying. The problem with our people, the satisfaction that we get is not justice. It's what we think to be justice, but it's not real justice. You understand? The Lord is telling us real justice is he shall surely be put to death. You don't put him to death. He shall surely be put to death. It's satisfying for you to go and kill another black man after he done killed your homeboy. It's satisfying because in your mind, you associate this with justice. I did this for my homie. That's why when brothers go and do those things, they say, we doing this for such and such. This was such. Right before they kill brothers, they'll say, yeah, this was such and such. They'll go and spray up the whole block. This for Tukey right here, nigga. This for Duck right here. And they'll go and spray the whole block because in their mind, they're giving justice to their loved one. And that's satisfying to feel like you're getting justice. The problem is the Bible is telling us what real justice is. You not doing it, but the people who the Lord ordained at that time, the priest, to execute justice. And that's him being put to death by the priest in this context in Numbers. Go back to Romans, show. So he asked me, am I saying one more time, McCoy?
Salaki, sir, did you say it's satisfying to take justice in your own hands? And did you reference Romans, which should be 12 and 19?
Yes, I am saying it's satisfying to take justice into your own hands. If not, why would people do it? It's absolutely gratifying and satisfying to go and take. It's just like when a woman, you go ask a woman, you cheat on her, and she feels all sense of accomplishment and satisfaction to key your goddamn car. She's gonna feel like he deserved. She's gonna slash all 4 of your tires. She's gonna knock off your rear view mirror. She's gonna put sugar in your gas tank, and she's gonna walk away and call all her homegirls up and feel like she got vindication. Like, yes, girl, he cheated on me, girl, and guess what I did? She feel like that's her getting justice. It's satisfying to feel like you're getting justice. The problem is that feeling we have is not from us getting actual justice. It's us fulfilling our lust. You understand? Real justice is so much more satisfying that we couldn't even comprehend it because we don't experience it in this kingdom. You understand? The justice, that the satisfaction we get is like the same satisfaction you get when you get high. What happens? It goes away. You go and kill another brother because they killed your brother, and after he's dead, you don't really understand that it felt good in that moment for a little while. Then here come nightmares. Here comes the looking over your shoulder. Here comes the pain that you still have to live with, that your homeboy is dead. You understand? Because you didn't really receive the satisfaction of justice. You understand? Where was we at? Here, read Romans
12:19.
Yep, Uncle Sean.
Romans chapter 12, verse 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord.
Why is this in the Bible?
Because we were taking revenge in our own hands and not trusting the Most High.
Why were we taking revenge to our own hands?
Because we were lustful. We wanted to get back.
It's satisfying. The same way when you had that itch to smoke, satisfying. Same way you feeling that Jones and you go and sleep with that whore, satisfying. You understand? We were doing these things because it satisfied the lust that we had. Real justice is satisfying, but we are going about it the wrong way. It's not how you get justice. That's why the Lord is telling you, don't avenge yourself. You're thinking this is going to be the right thing. Well, this is not the right thing. You think, and this is right on top of the 420. You think smoking weed is going to give you relief from your problems. And when that high comes down, the bills are still going to be here. The thought of child molestation is still going to be there. The thought of the pain and suffering and growing up in foster homes and having to take care of your whole family and suffering homelessness and suffering trauma and all types of things that we suffer is still going to be there. You understand? These things that we do to get temporary gratification doesn't help us. And that's the problem with our people. This case with Derek Chauvin is temporary gratification. Because what's going to happen? They found Derek Chauvin not guilty. Meanwhile, 10 miles away, Daunte Wright was killed. And you'll find out just in a second, more and more videos are going to surface of more and more police killings. Us cheering for this court case is so stupid. It's like smoking weed. It's a high for right now, and then you'll realize, oh, the police are still killing us.
Right.
Oh, this is still happening. Real justice is for the people that murder us now have to live underneath our authority. Because now we can truly have satisfaction in knowing this will never happen no more. Him first and then you, Brother Shaw.
You said they found him not guilty. I think I heard it differently on the radio.
Salaki guilty. Salaki. They found him guilty of all 3 counts. Salaki. Them finding him guilty is just a temporary gratification. It feels good because it's like, yes. Then the next police shoot is gonna happen, and then it's gonna bring you back to reality. It's gonna wipe away all that garbage that you thought was gonna happen. The same way killing another brother gives you a high at the moment. And then when the bullets start flying again, because somebody else get back, he's back to reality. You understand? Go ahead, young man.
Yeah, just like you were saying, I was watching CNN this morning. I normally don't watch it, but I came up with a clip. The Edomite was one of the anchors was an Edomite. He was going through like all these police officers killing these black guys in the street, this and that. He said, nothing won't change until your babies and your kids start getting killed in the street, white people. That's when you will see change. Like you said, this is not satisfaction because they still killing us. It's a quick fix.
And that's in the Bible. Precept. He said nothing will change unless your babies are killed. Precept. Come on now, this is Bedrock UPK precept. All y'all done heard it. All y'all done quoted it at some point. I'm pretty sure. Precept. Revelation. Give you a hint. Revelations 13:9. Let's get it. What he's saying is what the Bible's saying, and the Bible is real justice. You want to see black people really get justice? The Bible is telling you what justice looks like. He just said the cat in his ignorance said this will never end until white babies are killed in the streets. You know why? Because he understands a little thing about something. Read that.
And this was on CNN, bro, sir. Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
If any man has understanding, let him understand. Keep reading.
Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Is reparations justice for black people for slavery? No. It's not. Reparations is nothing more than temporary gratification for what we suffered in slavery. You want to know what justice is for black people suffering slavery? Now watching our slave masters go into slavery. Keep reading.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. You know what's going to really satisfy black people with real justice? When we watch the children of Derek Chauvin now have to mourn the loss of their father. Okay. You understand? Because the Lord killed their father. That's justice. Because he killed one of our brothers, the Lord now killed him. That's justice. And black people would take real joy in knowing, oh, well, we lost one, but they lost one too. That's justice, man. And that's why he said nothing will change until this happens. Because that's what justice served is. And that's why America will never give black people justice. Because it will require them to absolutely turn over the keys to this place and put the handcuffs on their goddamn hands. America won't ever give us justice, true justice. You think these people going to put themselves in slavery on your behalf? No. You think these people going to murder themselves on your behalf? They'll do it, but it won't be for you. You know what I'm saying? The white man will murder everybody himself, but it won't be for you. They're not doing this. They're not going to do anything on behalf of black people. And that's why somebody much more powerful is going to come and make it happen.
That's right.
That's why Christ is called our Savior, our deliverer, because he is the one that will deliver us out of the hands of a people that knows no justice. He's going to deliver us out of the hands and save us from a people who destroy us and think that it's God's will. You understand? Get me. That's in the Bible. Get me. John 16:2. God can go ahead and read.
John chapter 16, verse 2. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea. What would say just yeah. Yeah. The time cometh.
It's telling us right here that it's a certain race of people that are going to put us out of the synagogues. What is special about the synagogue? Anybody?
The synagogue was supposed to be a safe place.
The synagogue was a school where the Jews dwelt. You understand? The synagogues were the schools, the place of books. And I think that's the direct literal translation of synagogue, the place of books. You understand? Because this is where the schools where the Jews dwelt. The Bible is saying there's going to be a race of people that are going to take us out of those synagogues. You know why they're taking us out of the synagogues? Because they're putting themselves in there now. That's why now all on 6th and I, right down the block from the campsite, you have a big stupid synagogue with the so-called Jewish man all in there. You got DC police, that's for private security for it, and they in there claiming to be God's chosen people. When in order for that to happen, this had to happen first. They took us out of the synagogues. They took the real Jews, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans out of our places of learning about our culture and our God and our language and history. And they took us out of them places so that we wouldn't know it, so that they can steal it. It's simple. It's real cunning. The white man, he's wise in an earthly manner. You understand? Like, he understands how to deal with things. He'll talk to you real sweet and nice and professional as he's taking everything you have. And that's what he did. He put us out the synagogues. Keep reading.
The time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth God's service.
The time cometh when whosoever killeth us will think they're doing God's service. When George Floyd, and this is why I listen to a lot of white conservative radio, because I'm always interested in the counter perspective. I know what these white liberals think. They just as racist too, but I know what they think. I'm more interested in what the white conservatives are thinking, because they are more outward with being our adversary. And you know, go listen to what they said on these radio shows during the George Floyd trial. To them, Derek Chauvin was a hero. I'm not making this up. Listen. To them, George Floyd was some PCP crackhead junkie, big King Kong Negro that was sleeping with all the white women, and this a menace to society. You understand? And he just needs to get off the streets. And Derek Chauvin was brave enough to sacrifice his life to take George Floyd's life. Like, they kill us and think they're doing God a favor. We're doing this for God and for country. It's what I said last class. It's honorable to kill a black man in America. That's what it's honorable. You understand? And these people, the same people that put us out of the synagogues, they kill us and think, now this is of God. We're doing God a service. We're doing the world was better off without him. I remember somebody said that about Trayvon Martin. I can't remember. Somebody was famous. I think they got blackballed for saying that. But it was somebody famous at the time, back in 2014, I think it was. They said the world was better off without Trayvon Martin. Now, they try to portray Trayvon Martin as some thug criminal. You understand? And like, they think when they do what they do to us, it's ordained by God. Because in their mind, they could never be guilty of their crimes. Go ahead.
If I may, it was one of the IUIC. Yeah, he portrayed Trayvon Martin as like he should have followed what the white man said, and you know, the white man's in power, so he should have followed his rules because he's in power.
He definitely was one of them. I remember him saying that too. But he was a cat that was in the world on some news show or radio podcast and was famous. And he literally said verbatim, not verbatim, but he was along the lines of the world was better off without Trayvon Martin. Like the world is a safer place. And I remember him saying that, and he got canceled. They do what they want to us and think it to be of God. So like, of course, when I read that article, I'm going to try to get a little bit of it.
Report. Aide says Nixon's war on drugs targeted blacks, hippies. One of Richard Nixon's top advisors and a key figure in the Watergate scandal said the war on drugs was created as a political tool to fight blacks and hippies, according to a 22-year-old interview recently published in Harper's Magazine.
Now, this is one of the things where conspiracy theory versus conspiracy. This is coming from the mouth of Richard Nixon, former President Richard Nixon's top aides. Right, Richard Nixon. You understand what they call him? Dick. Tricky damn Dick. This is coming from him, his top aide. You understand? And if you can recall, there was a time in U.S. history. It's still going on right now. The war on drugs is still continuing from this time period up to this day. And they declared a war on drugs where all on the news they demonized black people. They went to the hospitals and was showing black babies in the little incubators and how small they was and how they was shaking and demonized black women and how they was crack whores and trap queens. And listen, brother, they took crafty counsel. They put in the works to really demonize black people so that they can justify what they really wanted to do to us. And we fell for the bait. We fell for it. Go ahead, brother.
So I have a conspiracy theory where Richard Nixon made the quote signs, and Michael Jackson made those same quote signs, and Austin Powers make the same quote signs. They always, if you turn it to the side, there's a B, and it's like a Baphomet symbol. It's a conspiracy theory.
And here we don't delve into conspiracy theories. I've heard that before too. I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories, but in here we're more concerned about the conspiracies, the actual conspiracies, because the actual conspiracies are far more damaging than what we can sit and philosophize about. Like, we can talk about how this was the beef for the Baphomet and the all-seeing eye, and we talk about that all day and get nowhere. But we can talk about how members of the United States government plotted against a race of their own so-called citizens. This was well documented, and nobody seems to give a damn. Nobody cares. Go ahead,
even if you bring up that the CIA actually did these things, it's still considered a conspiracy theory in pop culture or in the world right now. People do not believe it, even though they testified on Congress about this.
You know why? Because to acknowledge that this was being done to black people is now to have to acknowledge what is currently being done to black people. Like that whole, what is white people's excuse when we at camp speaking about the crimes that their race did to our people?
I didn't personally do it.
I've never done that. I've never had slaves. They get so indignant. I've never had slaves. I've never hung a black man. I love black people. They get real indignant in spirit. I see it. And it irks me because they don't understand. You are doing it right now. You live in a society where your government, your race of people, is currently doing the same thing. That's why they know to admit past wrongdoings now has to mean that you're continuing to do this wrongdoing. Because when have they ever stopped it? When have they ever stopped doing it? When has slavery ever ended? When has the war on drugs ever ended? When have they gave the Native Americans their land back? When have they paid for putting black people in chains? When have they paid for having Hispanic children in cages? They never paid none of the money back. They never paid none of the wealth back. They never gave none of the land back. We barely got a goddamn apology. That's why they can't admit to past doings, because to admit to past doings is like, now let's talk about what y'all doing right now, because you're still doing it. And they know that. That's why that whole thing, I never had slaves, that is the heart of a guilty man trying to flee justice. Because the Bible calls these people fugitives and vagabonds. A vagabond is someone who doesn't have a goddamn home. Someone who's homeless. And that's the white man, our oppressor. He has no homeland. Every land that he occupies today belongs to another people. And he claims it to be his. He's a fugitive because he never finds himself guilty. He runs from justice. You point out his crimes. He has some tricky dick way of getting out of why he's guilty. Like McCoy said, we bring out this right here, and in their mind, the CIA, drugs in the black community, the war on drugs is a war on black people. Our government will never do that. I understand. Just because you plead not guilty doesn't mean the judge is going to find you not guilty. You allowed to plead not guilty in court. The good thing about the judge sees all. This judge, he sees all, and the prosecutor is the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We are your prosecutor. That's what we do on the street corners. We are putting the charges against these devils because they're running from these charges. They plead not guilty when we are bringing up the evidence. That's what them signs are in front of the camp. The evidence. This is the proof. That lynching sign is stone cold hard evidence in the court case against these oppressors, and they're gonna plead not guilty until the end, until the judgment comes down. It's fun. It's more funny to see people who plead not guilty get them long sentences. That's usually how it works. You can take the plea deal and say, "Oh yeah, I'm guilty," and then the sentence not as harsh. You plead not guilty. Well, we take the trial, and then we'll let the judge or the jury decide, and you're gonna mess around and get life. You're going to get the death penalty, and that's what's going to happen to the oppressor since you're not guilty. You understand? What we had. Let me keep reading about Bashar real quick. We're going to end it on scripture.
The Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies: the anti-war left and the black people. Former Nixon domestic policy chief John Urchelman told Harper's writing Dan Baum for the April cover story published Tuesday. You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin. And then
that again.
Kind. You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin.
What is the white man's greatest power? Deception. Get the brother hand. It's in the Bible. For time's sake, we're not going to that scripture, but it's in the Bible. And if somebody reminds me, we'll go and break that down. How the white man's greatest power is deception. The Lord blessed him with the power of the sword, the power to kill. But his greatest power is to deceive. You understand? And this is how he got, like right now, today, who is associated with smoking weed? We are. When the whole damn weed day, 420, was established by 4 white friends. But you'll never know that. Bob Marley, who's a white man, is the face of getting high. You understand? Like, you'll never know these things because this place has deceived us and everybody else into believing that we're the criminals, man. But with that, we're going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer McQuash, y'all, man.
Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, at the Commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is the commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi 3, 8 through 10. It means 10th in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests. Not mandatory whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation is the Lord's 52nd annual Passover, which will be held this Saturday, April 24th in Houston, Texas. April 22nd will be the Slaughter of the Lamb, also in Houston, Texas. It will be at the it's like what's the name of the ranch, sir?
The BH Ranch.
The BH Ranch in Houston, Texas.
Also, it's like if I may. If you don't know, the Passover is April 24th. That's a Saturday. The Feast of Unleavened Bread, for those of you that still will be in Texas on Sunday, it will be Sunday, April 25th. With that being said, I was supposed to go into it tonight. Salaki. That's what I was supposed to go into. I forgot something. The Feast of Unleavened Bread, you're supposed to have all the leaven removed from your house. So because when we get back from Houston, we will already be in the Feast of Unleavened Bread because it starts 7 days after the Passover. So for 7 days, we can't eat anything that has leaven, which is yeast, a rising agent in it. So if some of y'all may be traveling tonight, which is, it's definitely too late if you got time. But if you're traveling later on in the week, you have time and should go and remove all the foods in your house that have yeast. You have three options. You can eat it all. You understand, which is absurd, but I mean, if it's not a lot, you can eat it all. You can throw it all away, or you can put it in your car or your trunk so that it's not in the confines of your house. Well, either way, according to the scriptures, you cannot have leaven in your house. You understand? And it starts the day after Passover. So that's why if you're going to be back, which will be nobody, because nobody will be back Sunday morning. You understand? You coming back Sunday morning? Well,
the white man's a devil.
You're right. No sweat. He is. That's what he is.
That's right.
But it starts 7 days. You understand? Right after the Passover. The Passover, and then a piece of leavened bread, and that goes on for 7 days. So for those 7 days, you can't have no leavened bread. So we're telling you right now to take it out your house now, because when you get back from Passover, you're breaking the law if it's still in your house and you haven't done it yet. You understand? So it has to be done before. So just take the time to figure that out and make that happen. Go ahead, brother.
Colin, this is not about the Passover. When we went to see General Muhammad in Baltimore, as I was coming back in the room, I looked at him and I started to salute him, and he shook me shook his head like, no, don't salute him. I'm just wondering what, for the first time it came to me, like, was there a reason behind that?
Because he was doing councils.
No, this is before he started the whole class. Like, he had just sat down pretty much. Everybody was getting ready. Everybody hadn't sat down yet. And I was sitting outside with Officer Kagar to check on one of the Trooper Kagar, Salakia, to check on one of the Baltimore captain's car keys. And as I came back in, I was coming in by myself, and I just saw General Muhammad. He had just sat down, and I started to salute him, and he shook his head like, no.
I'll answer after this, because I got to sit down and think about what you're saying for a minute. We're going to finish this announcement, and I'll answer in just a second. But sure. What else? Feast of Unleavened Bread, Passover. If you have any flights, if you're flying down to Houston, 24 hours before your flight date, make sure you go check your email and check in for your flight. A lot of people that you flying for the first time or you never knew that, you should go check in for your flight. You understand? 24 hours of your flight departure, you must go check your email and check in. It's just going to make the process so much easier when you get to the airport. That's for those that are flying. I think that's it. Go ahead, question.
Remind Akim and Akwatim to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black headbands, and scarf. And with that, I say Amijah, which means to stand. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel, Ahmad Shabbat, Imajah, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Rakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Rakatah.
Yashmatah, class dismissed.
Getting on the road, sir.
Yeah. The Lord loved us so much that in our poverty, in our hell, I'm going to come and deliver the broken, destroyed, messed up, poor, impoverished people. I'm going to
Yo, niggas ain't tough. Yo, niggas ain't tough.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Barakatah. Yahweh Shema Alatah Bashim Yahushua to all the sisters, man. Listen, it's Captain 13,000, the card of a rhyme, checking in with the Israelite School of UPK under Commander Junior Hunt. Listen, man, this year's 52nd annual Passover. Hold on. I'm gonna say it one more time. This year's 52nd annual Passover under Commander YAHANNA under the I.S.U.P.K. Couldn't do it last year. Y'all already know the Lord had his foot on our oppressor's neck.
Here in New York City, there are roughly 1,000 cases a day. Those are numbers they haven't seen since May.
Can't do it in New York this year because the Lord still got his foot on our oppressor's neck.
New York, the center of the outbreak this spring, is now teetering on another deadly explosion of the virus.
But listen to me good. This year, 52nd annual Passover, April 24th, 2021. You understand? It's gonna be in H-Town, baby.
It's gonna be at the B&H Ranch, 14149 Players Street, Houston, Texas.
Y'all know what we do. Y'all know what we came to do.
2021 I.S.U.P.K 52nd annual Passover. All the generals gonna be there. All the heavy hitters gonna be there. The daughters of Zion gonna step out with their beautiful long dresses, you understand? Strong on deck. That One West style music on deck. 52nd annual Passover.
B&H Ranch, 14149 Players Street, Houston, Texas.
Get with it to get lost, man.
Got it out the mud, straight up out the base. The world done made me crazy. The world done turned crazy.
You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord, of course. On one accord. We ain't never stopping now. You running now. All my niggas go to ground. We go.
Bye-bye.
Shalom. Y.A.H.N. Y.A.H.P.K. Y.A.H.N. to the sisters. I'm President Captain TITHES with the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, telling you to come out to the 52nd annual Passover under Commander General YAHANNA. Yeah, man, it's going to be at the ranch, man, the BH Ranch. And it's going to be a glorious event. April 24th, come out, come to Houston, Texas, where we're going to serve the Lord the way He's supposed to be served. You understand? We're going to celebrate the destruction of our enemy in the BH Ranch, and it's going to be a glorious event. Make sure you come out, man. It's going to be a $200 fee to get in, but let me tell you something. You're going to enjoy yourself. This is going to be the best event you've ever been to in your life. So I'm going to tell you, man, 14149 Players Street, come out, man, and enjoy the brotherhood and sisterhood under Christ. With that, shalom.
It's kind of hard to find a place around this area. So we just came from San